I got a request to do a video about how to sharpen knives and machetes. I was also asked about swords, but the problem is with proper swords, it's very difficult to actually sharpen those without proper training and also like a proper whetstone. So I wouldn't recommend anyone tries to sharpen sort of a nice expensive sword, because you ought to get that done professionally, because there's a high chance you could damage the sword doing it and basically ruin the blade. Okay, so this is basically for small knives, survivalist type knives and machetes. To demonstrate, here we have just like a cheap Rolson little sort of pocket knife, sort of a bit like a Swiss Army knife but not as good quality. Here we've got the Master Cutlery Survivor knife. That's that. Sorry. Here we've got Cold Steel Gladius machete. Okay, so as you can see, these are all the blades, and I've complained about before in my video about the machete that the Cold Steel Gladius blunts very quickly. That was because they put too fine an edge on it when I got it, and I have to sharpen this one quite a lot if I actually want to try and cut anything with it, because at the moment, or at least when it's blunt, it's embarrassingly bad. And there's quite a funny video of me trying to chop a cardboard box and it doesn't work because I haven't sharpened it. Okay, so there are two kinds of, there's more than two, but sort of conventional sharpeners, because you also get sharpening steel. You can get one of these are really handy little pocket knife sharpeners, and these are good for blades like these types where you don't want to go into much effort to sharpen them, so you want just something that's easy to use even though it might take some time. And then you have like a whetstone style sharpening stone, and that's a Lansky puck, which is basically coarse on one side, smooth on the other, or fine, and you use a certain motion on it to sharpen the blade. So I'll demonstrate. So this is the easy one. I think it's a Gerber one. Yeah, it is Gerber. It's a Gerber pocket knife sharpener. It has a coarse and a fine side on it. So what you do is work out first of all if your blade's already got an edge. That one's quite blunt. So what you'd want to do first is get the coarse side. So that's the coarse side there. Then you basically want to drag the blade through here. You basically just repeat that. The coarse side is to put an edge on a blunt blade. The fine side is to basically put a better finish on an already sharp blade. And already that's actually starting to make it a bit sharper, although it does take quite a while of dragging it through one of those to put a decent sheen on it. So yeah, this has already got a much better blade on it. So with this one we'd want the fine side. So demonstrate, you just pull it through, repeat that lots of times, and yeah, that's already put a bit more of an edge onto it. But obviously I haven't used this very much, that's still got a decent factory edge, but it could be sharper. The problem is with these is they're set to a certain width, as you can see, and that's set to a certain degree angle on the blade, so you can't customize it. It's basically whatever's in there you use. And if I remember, on the Gladius, it's not quite the right angle. It's not bad, but it's not the sort of angle you want on a machete. So yeah, it will sharpen it, but not really as sharp as you want it. So this is where you want something like this, or a sharpening steel. And what this does is essentially you have a coarse side and a fine side. That's the fine side, it's a coarse side, and you can probably see from looking at that I've used the coarse side a lot more. So what you do is you get the side you want, and in a circular motion you do that at the angle you want the blade edge to be. You basically repeat that a lot of times until you put your own edge on there. So basically, if you want just an easy way to sharpen knives, I'd recommend something like this, because that's much simpler to use. You don't really need to practice to use it, and it's faster. However, this is much better if you want to use it on different width blades, especially if they don't fit in the smaller type ones. You want to put your own custom angles on it and things like that. So for small knives, I'd recommend something like this, because that's a bit too big and sort of clumsy for small blades, although you can use them. And so this for small blades, this for large blades, and that's really an easy tutorial on sharpening blades. You can get most of these things on Amazon, eBay, and all sites like that for these sort of sharpeners. And you also, depending on what sort of blade you're putting it on, if you want getting one of these, you want to look at what degree the actual sort of sharpening teeth are inside, to get one that's a good sort of width or cut, whatever you want to say, however you want to call it, for the blade. Well, I hope that's been slightly informative. So yeah, that's how to sharpen knives, machetes, all that sort of thing. Thanks for watching.